I'm ready. All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of What Drives You. I'm one of your co-hosts, Stan Windhorn. With me, as always, is my good buddy and co-host, Carl Bauer. Carl, I'm looking forward to our subject matter today. We don't exactly have a guest, but we're going to be talking about someone that we both admire and respect, and we recently had a very enjoyable experience because of this person. So I'm going to let you go ahead and tell everybody who we're talking about.
Well, thank you, Stan, and everybody. What Stan is referring to is our internet friend and fellow YouTuber, Mr. Joe Rogan, and Stan and I were lucky enough to go recently to his comedy club. He had been there that evening, but we didn't get to run across him. But it was a belly laugh. I've not seen Stan laugh like that ever. Uh, Probably to the point where you were laughed out in the first hour. That the second hour you were like, yeah, this isn't the greatest thing, but I get it.
No, I just thought the early comedians were stronger.
Yep.
But yeah, no, it was a great time. Um, so for people who don't know, Joe Rogan now is here in Austin, Texas, where I am, and he took over the original Alamo Theater, which to my knowledge is the first theater that ever you could like have drinks and buy real food and not just popcorn and by drinks I mean like cocktails and you could eat a meal, not just popcorn and candy and stuff like that. Now they're everywhere, but I think they were the originators of that. But this is a on historic Sixth Street in Austin. I was really impressed with what he did with that building. He kept that kind of Austin vibe to it, but he updated it. It's called the Comedy Mothership. Um, I was a little bit taken back by the security measures he goes through. What did you think of that?
Well, based on the content and the language, I'm pretty sure that was a smart idea.
Well, but I mean, like, even before you get into place, like, you go up to the front door and they're like, "Do you have tickets?" Yes. Go around the corner. There's a guy waiting around the corner. So you got to go around the corner. There's a couple guys waiting there, and they scan your tickets and put your wristband on. Then you got to go through security, and they wand you down. I think they even made you lift up your shirt. Um, and then
They
they
wanted
take
to.
your cell phone, they make you turn it off in front of them, and then they put it into this special canvas padded bag and they lock it. And then they give it to you, and you don't get it unlocked until you leave. That part I think is probably a really good idea. It just saves you from having people accidentally have their phones going off during the show or taking pictures or videos. So that part I get.
Yeah, yeah. No, it was a great show, great experience. And for those of you that don't know, Mr. Rogan is probably one of the top, if not the top, podcaster in the world right now. He just re-signed a deal with Spotify for $250 million.
Yeah,
Um,
he's awesome on that.
his original deal with them in 2020 was for only 200 million, but that was
Oh,
exclusivity. And now because he said, "Hey, I don't want to be exclusive because I want to post shorts and other things on YouTube," they cut the deal. They gave him more money, but they got rid of the exclusivity, at least from my research. And so now he's, just a paltry 250 million. But on YouTube, which is the point of this. So, if for those of you who haven't been following this series, we're at episode number 58 in total, but this series we're on series number 3. And really, what this is about, and I think Stan's going to have a go at this after me, is I took my top, let's say, 50 YouTubers and ranked them just in order of popularity and video views, and Joe Rogan was number 3. Just my personal opinion. There's no favoritism here. The only rank is from number of subscribers down to the least number of subscribers. So Joe's number 3. He currently has 20.1 million subscribers, which is pretty good since he's kind of more new to the YouTube scene. And his top video stand has been seen by over 64 million viewers.
I think it's well deserved. I'm going to go back just a little bit with my feelings on Joe Rogan. Is the Fear Factor show was pretty cool. I've never been a super big fan of his stand-up comedy, but I think that a big part of the success of the Ultimate Fighting Championship, the UFC, has to be given to Joe Rogan. As far as I was concerned, I've always been a fight fan. I was a boxing fan. In fact, I did a little bit of that in college. Um, when the UFC first started, I didn't really care for it, but then I started watching it again after Joe Rogan began doing the color on that, and his vast knowledge of what's going on and the way he explains what's happening during these fights really helped me understand the art of mixed martial arts. It's not just this brutal thing. There's all this technique going on, and a guy could be on the ground on his back, but he's really truly in control. And I became a big Joe Rogan fan when he started announcing the UFC. Fast forward now to his podcast or his show, whatever it's called. I think he's awesome. Um, First of all, he gets really great guests, which you and I strive for as well. But you can tell that he either really prepares before each of his shows, or he's just a really smart dude and knows a lot about a lot of different stuff, including, I mean, everything from ancient alien theory to lead poisoning in the Pacific Northwest kind of stuff. I mean, he's really a sharp guy.
Yeah, he is. And I don't know if I ever tell you. So when where Stan and I met was a company called True Car, and we would often have to go to our mothership, which was in Santa Monica, California. So we did a lot of Austin to LAX flights, and I was on a flight going. I don't know if I was bouncing between Vegas or whatever, but it was one of these weird deals, Stan, where I was getting my bags and I was going to my flight, and I ended up going down this hallway where it was literally no one, like in the middle of the day, no one except this husband and wife and these two little kids. And I'm getting closer, and he's kind of talking to little kids, and he puts one up on his shoulders, and I get up next to him. It's Joe Rogan and his
Oh,
wife.
you've never told me that story.
Yeah, and I was like, hey, and he's like, hey, and I just kept watching. I mean, that like I'm like, how? What are the odds? There's no entourage, no secure. Just now, he's bigger than he was then, but or more famous or more popular. But yeah, I just thought it was cool. I'm like, there's just a dad taking care of his kids, putting them up on his shoulders at the airport, and it was just funny because I have two kids, and I thought that could be me right there. So anyway, he loves Austin. He loves, what intrigues me about him, what I love about him, besides because I agree with you on the MMA stuff. The guy's an unbelievable teacher, and I think he could probably kick a lot of people's butts because he grew up in that world.
Well, speaking of that, you may not know this, but he was a karate champion and he gave up competing in the sport when he did I think it's called a roundhouse kick or a front kick, but he got the guy right in the head and the guy just dropped. And it freaked him out. He was like, "Man, I hope I didn't kill this guy." And he's like, "Man, I don't want to hurt people like that." So he stopped competing. But have you ever seen a video of him kicking a big bag?
Yeah,
His spinning back kick, I mean, it would destroy your internal organs. I mean, yeah, he doesn't just know the sport. He could participate
yeah,
at a
yeah.
level too.
But what intrigues me even more than that, and impresses me more than that, he is so open minded and like I mean, he'll listen to a Satanist and then a preacher and then a Democrat and then a Republican. One of the most interesting ones I've ever watched, because I'm not a big Bernie Sanders fan, as you know. He spoke to Bernie Sanders for 3 hours, and it was one of the most intriguing. And I'm like, Bernie Sanders just a regular schmo like me and you, and it was so open. And this is a recent one, Stan. So if you haven't watched it, watch it. I would encourage you. It no judgment from the guy, no, just open-minded questions, and he's just a lifelong learner, which is what I strive to be too. So yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I think he's really good. So I am curious. Hey, Joe, when you come and do What Drives You, Joe Rogan, when you come do What Drives You, Um, I would like to know how much of this stuff he just, is he just constantly reading and learning, or is he just really prepared? I know he's got a team of people that help him with his podcast too, but it doesn't matter to me what his answer is. I'm just curious because I think he's outstanding. I think he's one of the best interviewers, certainly in any media today. Um, and yeah, he's not afraid to pull, he doesn't pull punches. He's not afraid to call people out if he thinks they're, spewing some BS. But he also, even when he does that, he has a way of doing it with this level of respect that I think is pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah. And Joe Rogan, we will come to you. Joe Rogan in Austin stands right there. We are whatever. If it's midnight or 4, we will make it work.
We're
Uh,
practically neighbors, Joe. We're practically neighbors.
and we're customers, right? Because we just spent a couple $100 at the mothership, so you're welcome. But I think part of what I like about what he did recently with his new contract is he got off the Spotify exclusivity thing, which allows him to collaborate. And back to his show, his podcast, he's one of the first podcasters that actually put video cameras in his studio stand so that he can cross the video audio, gap. And he he'll interview anybody. I mean, there's some people that are so obscure, and that's kind of what you and I have to as we're learning and growing this channel. Just some people that aren't really well known, but on up to the president. I mean, the whole Kamala, I'll interview you like I did Trump, and that whole shenanigans. Like he's not afraid to talk to anybody, and yet he still is humbled that these people will come on and talk to him. It's a pretty amazing strategy and business model that he has, and that
Yeah.
even the comedy club that we went to, he said on many podcasts he wants that to be where people can come make a living. He could care less if he makes a rip and dime off the thing, but he wants a place for live people to experience live comedy
Yeah,
every day of the
and help his fellow comedians. Another thing that I did impress me about his place, and I'm surprised comedy places haven't done this before, but he makes it really clear with a lot of signage, some of it's very clever, that if you start heckling, you're getting kicked out. And we saw it happen. And I'm like, yeah, why in the world do comedy clubs, why is this like a new thought to just get rid of the idiots who ruin it for everybody? I want to know why anybody thinks heckling is a smart idea anyway.
no.
I mean, that's just, I just can't imagine the mind frame that, yeah, I'm going to be funnier than this guy or whatever the case may be. But yeah, we watched a lady and her boyfriend get escorted out. They put up with it for just a little bit and then they're like, that's it, you're out.
Yeah.
And I thought it was a great, great idea.
Well, it throws the rhythm off the show, and that it's funny because on my flight home the next day there was a heckler on the plane behind me. And I shared that story with you. So probably anybody who's listening, not a good idea to heckle police, comedians, airline people, because you're going out. You're getting out. You're getting tossed. So
We need to find a heckler and have them come on here so we can see if we can get in their head.
exactly.
What made you think that was a smart idea? Anyway, I know we want to keep this one kind of short. What else? Do you know, Carl, if Joe is involved in any causes that he really supports?
Yeah, I think he's involved in a few. He's very involved, as you know, with nature and hunting and all that stuff. So he's really a proponent of you know, ethical hunting, controlled hunting, keeping
Yeah.
wild spaces open, clean water. I mean, there's a bunch. I've watched enough episodes to know that he does like he'll promote anything that makes sense from a charitable standpoint. But yeah, I don't know if there's one in particular. I'd have to do a little more research. But Joe,
That's okay.
we can ask. I mean, if he comes on, we'll let him promote whatever he's got, right?
Hey, Joe Rogan, do you have any causes you'd like to promote on what drives you?
That's a great idea, Stan.
All right.
Anyway,
Good enough, man.
good stuff. Joe, we're here for you, buddy. We're here for you. And we'd love to
Hey,
collaborate in all seriousness. what makes YouTube amazing is the big guys and little guys helping each other, the collaboration. If we bring one or two more viewers to his channel and him to us, it just all works together, right? I mean, at some point,
It's
cable
good
and
for
network
everybody.
TV, they just might be gone because all the interesting and unique, big viewership audiences, channels, and little guys like us might just take everyone's time.
I agree, my friend.
All right. Thank you, Stan. Thanks,
All
Joe.
right, thanks everybody for joining us on this episode of What Drives You. If anybody knows Joe Rogan, let him know that we welcome him here.
Hook us up.
All
See
right,
you,
take
Stan.
care, buddy.
Bye.